Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Well, today's project, 2017 Ford Explorer, 3.5 V6. He wants the water pump replaced and an oil change. So, I'm going to have me a little fun project today. He did get me the motorcraft water pump. Motorcraft oil and filter, got my coolant. Now the fun begins. I've done one on here, I don't know, a couple years ago maybe. I guess the cheap version has went out again, so this time he's going Ford. So I get to pull the intake, valve covers, timing cover, get in there, pull the chains, replace the water pump, put it all back together. Okay, well, I'll give you a quick update. I have the intake off, front and rear valve covers off. Most of that is pretty explanatory. The intake, all the bolts you get right from the top. There's nothing tricky you have to reach from around back or anything like that that makes it a mystery. The wiring harness has a couple of wires that tuck down in the front. I just pull the harness over, run a little bungee around it. The back harness you can just kind of flip up. So in general, the harness is not too bad, other than the injectors. The little red clip on these style injectors kind of sucks to get the red clip up. But from there, it's going to be getting down there, getting the belt off, getting the jack underneath it, where I can lower it down to make it easier to get the balancer off, motor mount off, then the timing cover, and then we'll be into the chains and the water pump. And the valve covers, pretty self-explanatory. The bolts go all the way around the outside, the VVT, solenoids, tube seals. I have a leaking tube seal. So this is something to watch for on all of these style coil over plug design, is sometimes these tube seals will leak, motor oil will get around there, and it'll cause a misfire. So obviously I'm going to be cleaning these up, new gaskets, new tube seals. These seals are basically just like these seals, just a smaller version for the VVT solenoids. Alright, this is where I'm at now. Obviously you got to take the belt off, which ain't too bad. The tensioner is kind of tucked up in there, but you can get it from either the top or bottom. It has a square in it, whatever is more comfortable. You're going to need this style of puller. They're made for this style harmonic balance. And what they have is a different length push rod depending on how long the bolt is. And it just goes in, it turns and locks on the three little tabs, and then it pulls the balancer straight out. Obviously I got the inner fender out, which has got those little push-in tabs with the Phillips screw in the middle, and 6 or 8 of the 7/32 head screws along the bumper, some of the 5/16 from underneath. You can see the tabs where those go in. Alright, here's a couple of things I wanted to mention real quick. One, there's 3 of these bigger bolts in this cover. They're a 15mm head. This center one here does not come out. So what I tend to do is I just leave it in the timing cover and pull it back so it clears, so I can get the cover up or down wherever I can get to it. I don't remember right offhand, but I do know that middle one does not come right out. The other 2 are shorter, they come out. There's 6 bolts in the center area. If you take these 2 back studs out for the upper engine mount, which are they're like inverted Torx, I don't know what they call them right offhand. But if you take the 2 back studs out, it's really easy to get to those 6 bolts. This one bolt that's left is basically dead in line with this stud. The other 5 you can squeeze around it with a shallow socket. It's just a lot easier and faster to take these out, especially putting it back together, trying to line up the bolts. These 6 bolts are different, so I sit them up here, then all the ones on the outside going all the way around are basically all the same bolt. Alright, one more thing I should have probably mentioned earlier. On this timing cover, they hide one little 8mm bolt by itself tucked up inside of here. So just so you know, it is kind of hidden back there. There isn't one on this side. So I mean, I love how these manufacturers decide, let's just throw something in there, you know, for no apparent reason. So just so you know, if you can't get your cover off, there's one bolt in here. Like I said, I was in here a few years ago, so I anti-seized everything. So. Okay, quick little update. Timing cover is off, and I've rotated the motor around clockwise only. They always recommend clockwise. Keeps anything from jumping time. I have, it's kind of hard to see in here, I went ahead and marked the yellow dot on the cam on both of them. And if you notice, the colored link on the chain is off. That is normal because after it rotates, they do end up not exactly back on the dot. They'll end up somewhere else in the chain. That is normal. Do not be worried when you open this and see that. Just line up your cam dots, line up your crank dots, and where those links are is where those colored links are. When you put it back together, you use the colored links to line everything up. On the crank, it ends up down here, just to the side of that little opening. Just like that. They do have a cam lock tool. They're only like 30 bucks on Amazon. I don't happen to have them. I've done these before. Because the two cams are chained together, they end up in a neutral spot when they're on TDC like this, so they don't try to rotate much. So you can take the chains off without them. They are nice because they actually slip onto these flat spots and lock these cams, so you know you're 100% straight up. But I've done enough motors and chains. I'm gonna run with it this time without them. I ran with it last time without them. Haven't had a problem. Okay, another update. Well, I do believe we found a problem. Here's the new motorcraft, and here's the El Cheapo that got put in before. I do not remember the kit, but I do know it was not a motorcraft kit that we put in here last time. So, everything is apart. Like I mentioned before, the cams pretty much stay still. They're chained together. They're in a neutral spot. Like I said, I've done these. I'm not too worried about it. They'll go right back together. Okay, well, water pump's installed. And chain is all back on. The tensioner, you can just put it in a vise. You squeeze the two little wires together, and then you can press it back down. You put your grenade pin back in. Put all the guides back on. Like I said before, these cams don't really try to move, so this is not as difficult as some make it sound. Big thing is making sure everything is in time. Take your time, be patient, line everything up. The double links obviously go on the bottom to the crank, and make sure everything's clean, because this is a silicone gasket for the timing cover. And so that's it. Just be patient, take your time. Well, made some more progress. The timing cover's on, everything torqued down. Got the belt tensioner in, got the belt in the upper motor mount, the harmonic balance. Got a little bit of the oil cleaned up. I kind of spilled here and there. It's kind of inevitable on these jobs. One thing I will say is harmonic balances. Do not use the bolt to put the harmonic balance on. They sell these long reach balancer install kits. They're great. They work great. They're cheap. You can buy them on Amazon. That bolt in the harmonic balance is not strong enough to put that balancer on. It will break. Well, got it all finished up, back together. It's running great, running smooth. Working on getting the coolant topped off. Got no leaks, which there's not a lot of places to leak. Water pump or this upper hose right here is basically the only two places you're gonna have to mess with coolant when you're doing one of these water pumps. This little crossover hose is really easy, so it's hard to kind of mess that up. But if you just take your time, be patient, you should have no problem doing this job. Everything's going good. Temp is good. Car's running, temperature's right on the money. Alright, if you like this video, I'd appreciate it if you please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you for watching.